Hey everyone, welcome to the Powersports Talk podcast, brought to you by Motovan. I'm your host, Éric Ménard. Each episode we bring you stories, insights, and conversation from across the powersports industry, from the people who live it to the brands that drive it. And our first guest on this marvelous podcast is Connie Paladino, third generation at Motovan. Connie, how are you?
I'm good, Eric. How are you?
I'm great, and I'm excited about this podcast because I'll get to talk to people from many brands that you guys distribute. And I've been in the industry for 20 some years. I've pretty much tried everything that's on the market in terms of motorcycle gear. So for me, it's like having the keys to the candy store and talking to people that make the candies.
Exactly. I think you're gonna have a blast talking to everyone and getting to know everyone and
I'm sure. I'm
getting
sure. And
insights, I
well,
guess, from all these people. And
meeting you is fun for me because I've met your grandfather, the one that started Motovan many years ago. And I've met your dad. So, and I've been working with Motovan on and off for many years. I've tried a lot of your stuff. So having you on board is fun. We have to tell everyone that you are a third generation Paladino at Motovan. I think your grandfather started Motovan.
yeah, so I'll touch on that a little later, but I've pretty much been at Motovan my whole life.
Mhm.
Officially working, I would say when I was in high school. So how long ago has that been now? Maybe 15-ish years? And full time since I graduated university. So almost 8, 10 years ago, about, I would have to say. So
And are you a power sports fan? Do you ride motorcycles, quads, snowmobiles?
when I was a kid, I tried riding a little pit bike and that didn't end super well. So I've kind of stayed away from it all. I mean, I follow the sport, I'll follow MotoGP and all that kind of stuff, but that's as involved, I guess, in the actual sport itself that I will be.
And would you say that because you've been raised with, motorsports products are all around you, and what does that bring you in terms of, knowledge for your job?
Uh, a lot, I guess, because I mean, I work on the marketing side of things and on the social media side of things. So obviously, when you're promoting a product or a brand on social media, you obviously need to know the product you're promoting. And I guess by living it and by being in it is what kind of helped me be able to do my job. So like, although I don't ride per se, I still know what I'm talking about in a way because I was basically brought up like some brands we've had since I was a child. So like I've seen
Mhm.
these brands evolve and I've known about them for a very long time.
I wonder what were the discussions at the Sunday night meal with your grandfather and your dad. Were you talking about business?
We still do to this day. Like my grandfather obviously is retired, but he still wants to know everything that's going on. He's still super passionate about the business. He'll always ask me to show what we're posting on social media so he can like go share it and like it. He wants to know how busy we are. He wants to know when new lines are coming in, how certain lines are doing, how certain people are doing, because he obviously knows many people in the industry over the years. So he wants to like know how so and so's doing. So he's still very involved. But growing up, I remember at the dinner tables and stuff, he would always have like his pile of catalogs. Like he was obsessed with his catalogs back in the day. So they were always a guest at the kitchen table, that's for sure.
Can you imagine for him how much of the evolution he's seen when it's starting literally, I think, in his basement with
Mm-hmm.
catalogs and phone and calling people and distributing stuff and bringing stuff from Italy before the web. Just there were just phone lines at the time, so he had to call in the
I
U.S.
know.
or in Italy. And nowadays, third generation, you just click an email and you can order something. It's way faster than it used to be.
Yeah, like I'm a little biased because I'm 100% for the tech side of things. I mean, I guess our generation, we're always on our phone or always on our computers. So
Mhm.
I love being able to just like part number, click a button and be able to order something. And he's adapted to it pretty well. Like he's like social media famous. He's always on Facebook, he's always on Instagram, he's sharing stuff, sending stuff. Like he's very into the whole technology, I guess, evolution side of things as well. So he's all for it, but he's definitely seen one extreme go to another over the years.
Oh, of course, it must be amazing for him. So let's start from the beginning. How did Motovan get started?
So, Motovan was founded by my grandfather, Carlo Paladino, who began his career in the motorcycle industry in Italy in the 1950s. When he came here, he pursued that in Canada in the 1960s. Through, I guess, his previous roles, he built a lot of relationships, and those relationships are basically what made him realize that there was a need for someone to better serve, I guess, dealers and better like give them access to products more efficiently. And that need is essentially, or that recognition, I would say, is essentially what led him to creating Motovan. My grandfather, I think, was a definition of a true entrepreneur. Not only did he start the business in his home, in his basement, but he would wake up in the middle of the night, drive to Toronto, deliver orders, stop by Ottawa on the way back, and then continue delivering orders in Montreal.
Oh, he
On
actually
top,
was distributing with his
he was,
car all his
yeah,
products.
he was delivering at the beginning. He was like a one-man show when I first started. So he
Wow.
was doing everything at home from home on his own type of thing. And
So
he
you go from
eventually
the guy that delivers with his own car to nowadays you got your big doors for those big vans that pull up and load the stuff. It's crazy how much it
it's
evolved.
it's crazy. And my grandfather's like became a member of the Canadian Motorcycle Hall of Fame, and I want to mention that because I think it's super well deserved just because of how he started and the passion he had for this from the very beginning of Motovan's days.
And does he still follow, all that's happening with the new products? Because it started, we had some padding in the shoulders and the back, and that was it, like a big piece of foam, to the products we have today that are super high tech. Is it hard for him to follow?
I don't think so. I think he's curious. He always wants to know. He wants to know what's new in terms of both products and brands, and even with regards to us, he wants to know what we're bringing in, what brands have released, what the new technologies are, what the new trends are. Like he's still super invested and super curious about like how I guess the industry as a whole is evolving.
And for people that don't know about Motovan, could you describe what it does and how it started?
So today, like I mentioned, my grandfather started the business. Today it's led by my father James and by my uncle Mike. The
Mhm.
Palladino family does own other companies both in and out of the power sports industry as well.
So you're like the
So
third generation now.
I'm the third generation. I am. So essentially, what we do is that we sell exclusively to dealerships by importing hard parts, replacement parts, helmets, accessories, tires, the whole shebang worldwide from
And not
suppliers around
just
the
for
world.
motorcycles. You also have stuff for four wheelers, quad power, everything that's power sports.
Power sports related, yeah, snowmobiles, ATV, UTV, you name it. So that's kind of what we do. And I think like what makes Motovan more unique, I would say, is our more service-oriented approach. We have a nice portfolio of really like good industry recognized brands.
Mhm.
And we continue to invest a lot in technology and our distribution operations just to make the whole process more efficient for our partners.
I talk to a lot of people in the industry, and I get the sense that at Motovan, you got the family-oriented approach. We talk to you guys. Either it's at marketing or distributing or any people I talk to at Motovan, you get a sense that it's a big small business.
Yeah, it's like one big happy family, I guess, in a
Yeah.
way. Like we are a family business at our core, so obviously that culture is going to be instilled in the culture of the company as well. So we kind of like view everyone as a part of the family.
And would you say that helps you when you go on big shows like EICMA and you try to, sign new products or renew new deals? Having that approach would most certainly help.
Yeah, I think our partners feel super comfortable with us. They trust us. They have I can't speak personally because although I keep bombarding my dad every single year. I have not been taken to ECMA yet, and
Oh, you
that's
gotta
like
go.
that's on
It's
my
crazy.
bucket list. I ask him every single year. I'm like, take me with you, and every year the answer I get is maybe next year. Maybe I've even spoken to some of our suppliers when we come here, and they're like, are you gonna be at ECMA? And I'll just look at my dad like, see, they want me there. Like I should be there.
Motovan has been around for decades, and how would you say the company has evolved over the years? Because you have to have an evolution to follow the market and to adapt to, market changes.
So I want to say that Motovan has really grown into a truly national distributor representing many key brands. We have like expanded our geographic reach across Canada and completed multiple acquisitions of both competitors and brands. And I know the acquisitions that we have completed are more than anyone else in the industry. In terms of adapting, we're also one of the first medium-sized Canadian companies that have implemented SAP as an ERP system, what kind of again touches on our focus on technology and efficiency. We were actually named one of Canada's, I believe, Canada's 50 best managed companies, and we're the first distributor in powersports industry to move fully away from printed catalogs and more towards digital search-oriented catalogs. And more recently, like we invest a lot into marketing. I mean, I'm a marketer, so I'm super happy about that. But obviously, the goal is to help our suppliers build their brands and develop their products within the Canadian markets, and that's super super important. The whole marketing investment side of things to be able to help them.
Let's talk about markets because it's always changing. And what trends or shifts have you noticed recently that has made you evolve?
So the industry has definitely evolved quickly. I would say back in the day, the focus was more older riders, I guess the baby boomers generation, and that kind of shifted to younger riders, maybe looking for more electric or economical commuter options. Over the last few years, I would say the adventure segment completely blew up. Like the adventure
Exploded.
segment exploded. It took over, which I think is super cool. I love that whole segment. It's super interesting to me.
Mhm.
But snowmobile, I guess, kind of depends on how the snow fluctuates. It's like hit or miss depending on, I guess, the snow each season. UTV sales have definitely surpassed ATV sales. And I guess it's super important to adapt because all these shifts kind of affect on like how we approach the market. Something else that's very interesting that we look at is kind of the whole broader economic situation as a whole. When like the economy is kind of performing better and then like stronger economic periods, we notice that people are buying more accessories. And then when economic periods are softer, people tend to purchase replacement parts more. So I think like all in all, it's super important to be adaptable when it
It's
comes to,
funny
I guess,
how you guys see the repercussion of the economy
it's
in your
crazy.
business.
It definitely affects, I guess, people's spending behaviors and I guess what they prioritize. What they prioritize in terms of what they're buying. Because I mean, if you have obviously like a lot more disposable income, maybe you'll invest in a new helmet. But then if like
Yeah.
the economy is kind of like
When you're having difficulty, paying your grocery, maybe you'll repair that bike or that UTV. If it all
exactly,
goes well, then you could just buy a new one.
then you can, yeah, then you can treat yourself. So
Yeah.
it kind of goes hand in hand, right? So.
And what does being a Canadian distributor mean for Motovan? How does that shape the brands you carry and how the way you serve dealers?
So we're extremely proud of our Canadian heritage. Actually, fun fact, and not many people know this, but Motovan stands for Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, and has nothing to do with
Really?
motorcycles itself. Yeah, so it has nothing to do. I learned this a couple years back as well. I didn't even know this to be honest, but
Wow.
it
Okay.
Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, and that kind of represents the company's initial goal when my grandfather started it, and that was to service all of Canada, so like coast to coast. Hence, he came up with the name Motovan. And we're aware that not Motovan, sorry, we're aware that Canada is not the biggest power sports market, so that's why we feel it's especially important to be able to support brands in Canada and be able to be the best possible partner for all of our dealers coast to coast.
Can you tell us about, can you tell us a bit about, you have so many brands, but a few that comes on top of your head now.
So that's it. Like mentioned, like we service the aftermarket side of the industry, so carrying everything from replacement parts, tires, helmets, accessories, apparel, and so on. We have long-standing and strong relationships with iconic brands in the industry, like Shoei, for example. But we
Mhm.
also kind of try to like adapt to trends into the changing markets with more, I guess, trendy brands like Insta360.
Yeah.
We know we can't carry everything, so we try to focus on serious, reputable, industry recognized brands that we know dealers want and that we know we can add value to in Canada. And representing a brand is a three-way street between us, the dealer, and the supplier, and we do feel that everyone has to be aligned. We have our tactics. I mean, like in order to I want to say I guess keep a brand and have brands trust us and build strong like we do build like with our brand like with the brands we carry and the people behind the brands we do build very strong relationships with them like
Mhm.
we consider them friends we consider them family a brand like Shoei for example I can again I can't speak on my own behalf but I know my father my grandfather Mike have very strong relationships with the people behind the company and
Mhm.
I think that's what's most important when it comes to the brands it's like connecting with the people, having obviously in the end you want to deliver the results as well, but there's
Yeah.
the whole people side of things and the people aspect of things, and it's like when you build that trust with the person, obviously helps you in the long term.
Carry on to the other year. These industries are about passion. I'm passionate about motorcycles. Other clients you have are passionate about UTVs, ATVs, snowmobile. It's about passion. How do you guys respond to that? Do you hire people that are passionate about power sports as well?
Well, I guess like I kind of like I was touching on earlier, like Motovan is a family business at its core, and anyone who joins our team essentially becomes a part of the family. We don't a lot like what's cool is that a lot of people here actually do ride something themselves.
Hmm.
We don't hire based off of like if you ride or if you don't ride, but it just so happens that a lot of people do ride. But I think for us it's more where the passion stems from is the whole like family teamwork whole side of things and it's just a bonus that most people here are actually super passionate about the sports and about the industry and like even like I said like people like myself who don't necessarily ride we still we're still somewhat interested in the sport in the industry we still follow it we still know about it so I don't think we have anyone here that's completely clueless about what the industry is what it's all about what's going on so
Uh, a thing you're doing at Motovan for many years, and it does relate to being a passion business or
mhm.
industry, is sponsorship. You guys have always sponsored racers that I've came across over the years. So is that something that you're still pushing?
Yeah, so we're super proud of, I mean, all the racing series, the riders, the sponsorships, the influencers, the events, all of that that we've sponsored throughout the year. Obviously, on my end, I take care of a lot of social media influencers, so I work with the whole social media side of things, but we still sponsor riders, we still sponsor events, we still sponsor series. We also attend a lot of trade shows and actually
Mhm.
host our own dealer trade shows. So
Okay.
I think that's super important. And like as a company itself, aside from Powersports, I guess, we're super invested in giving back through like charities and like
Oh yeah.
organizations like Food Banks Canada. Yeah.
So would you say that being Italian does help for the family values? Because we know Italians are a lot about family values.
I think so. I think the fact that we're Italian and like I'm super close to my family, our whole family grew up super close.
Mhm.
The fact that it's a family business and we're on our third generation and like a lot of the people who actually work here have been with the company since I was a kid. So
Oh
I
yeah.
said, yeah, like people always tell me like when I first met you, you were this high and they've like some people have been here for as long as I've lived type of thing. So it's like, so I mean, when you're around that long and whether you're not, whether you're new or you've been around for over 20 years, you instantly become a part of that family. But I think it's just, like I said, it's who we are. It's like we're big family people. So we're obviously gonna kind of bring that into our workspace as well and our work environment.
So in the third generation, there's you and who else?
So in the business right now, there's just me.
There's
I'm the
just
only
you.
one. I'm just yeah.
Your
My
dad,
brother comes and goes. Yeah.
he studies. He's still studying.
Yeah, he's still studying. For now,
It's
it's
just
just
you.
me. I have two,
So,
like my uncle Mike has two children, but they're 13 and 9, so
not
they're
yet.
not exactly there yet, but I may have some competition later on.
How do you see the how do you see the future of Motovan? If you were given the keys to the business in a week or two, where would you bring it? Would you still carry what they're doing? Would you change something? Being young and fresh and having a new perception of things, what would you do?
Well, I mean, looking ahead, we obviously want to continue growing, innovating, and leading within the power sports industry. Obviously, like we touched on before, innovating and adapting to the changing, I guess, what's the word? The changing environment of the industry is super important. With technology kind of blowing up, it's obviously going to impact the way in which we operate moving forward. And like I said, I embrace any new technology trend that's out there. I'm all for it. So I think it's going to be super interesting to see how tech's going to evolve and impact our industry.
Yeah.
Uh, we obviously plan on to keep investing in the power sports industry as a whole and to continue bringing Canadian riders the best and latest products from all over the world.
Finally, what do you think listeners of this podcast can expect from what we'll do in the next few weeks?
So I think they can expect a true power sports industry perspective from how the market's evolving to the trends shaping its future. We're gonna bring in some of our suppliers so that listeners can learn about the people and the stories behind each brand. And we're obviously gonna, I guess, sprinkle in a few surprises here and there. So
Oh, that's good. And
that's
I'll be the host of all these
will.
interviews and that podcast. It'll be my pleasure because I like to talk about new products, bikes, and I've been in the industry for so long that, it's basically what I do. Even when I'm not in front of a camera and doing a podcast, in my day-to-day life, I talk about this all the time. I'm annoying, but I love it.
It's perfect. We need someone like you who's passionate about the industry. So
I
I
am.
think
It
you're the
doesn't go away.
perfect host and the perfect fit for this. So
All right, Connie. Well, thanks for this first podcast. It was nice getting to know you better. And I
thank
guess
you.
people will also be able to write comments and ask more questions if they have any more questions for you or about Motovan. Now is the time, so you can write that in the comments below. Thanks, Connie.
Thank you.